Association, SMA Union,
we want to be listening to you in terms of the issues that we are saying, and also in terms of what you think we should do better. So please feel free to participate, and as indicated, we won't be showing your faces, but we will try to be showing ourselves on screen so that you can see the people that you are talking to. But when it's your time to speak, your faces won't be shown, but your name, so that we can protect you. Or issues of safeguarding and protection of children, particularly on virtual or online technology like today. So thank you so much once again for being here. And we thank you, colleagues, partners and stakeholders who were part of the mobilization, who were part of facilitating consent forms that have been signed, and who were part of facilitating the registration. We really do appreciate collective effort to making this meeting a success. You are welcome once again, and do feel free to speak. There are different channels that you can speak to us. You can put your comments on chat. You can raise your hand. But there are going to be facilitators as well who are going to make sure that they can give you an opportunity to participate. Thank you so much. And the next person who is going to be speaking to us is Anita, who is going to be telling us really the objectives of this meeting, so that when we finish the meeting, we can be sure that we have achieved what we set out to do in the first place. Anita?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, parents. Good morning, children. Good morning, my colleagues. Thank you very much for joining us. Just as Felicitas has said, my name is Anita, first of all, and I work at the EACRN, Eastern African Child Rights Network, and I'm happy to join this meeting. So for purposes of today, just as Felicitas has mentioned, we've been having a series of meetings with our civil society partners, NGOs across Africa. And these are NGOs that work on ensuring, advocate for children's rights in Africa. And the purpose of these meetings has been to understand from these NGOs what how they are coping in regard to working on children's rights, and what we need to do together to better advance children's rights in the continent. So children, just as my colleague Felicitas has said, we are here for you, and we want to really get to understand and listen from your perspective, because your perspective is very important, even as we work on advancing the rights of the child within the continent. So over the past 1 week, children, what we have been doing is getting this perspective so that they can inform our advocacy in the future. But also, so these are adults that we've been having these discussions with. And really today what we want to do is to better understand from children's perspective what needs to be done to ensure that children are safe, that children are protected, and that children are happy within the locations that they are in the different areas in Africa. So today, our objective really is to get to listen to you children on what you think. How do you think we can be able to advance your rights well? What are those challenges that you're experiencing currently in this COVID-19 situation? And importantly, also children, this year we are marking 30 years since the adoption of the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, which is a legal instrument, a legal document that spells out the rights of the child in Africa. So this document marks, it's going to be 30 years this year. New children, as we mark 30 years since the adoption of this instrument, what do you think we need to do as we move forward? Of course, we have seen the impact of COVID-19. Some, of course, you're not able to go to school. There are so many problems around the world that we have seen. But what is it that children want us to think about as we think of the next 30 or 10 years with this legal document? So children and parents and colleagues, our objectives today as one is to reflect on the impact of this African Charter in the 30 years of its existence and the initiatives that we need to think about in our programming as CSOs, as parents, as partners, in order to better advance the rights of the child. And of course, we also want to hear from you children, as I said, on how we can be able to protect your rights, particularly in this COVID-19 situation. We've had so many children are being violated in various other places, but we also want to listen from you children on what is really important for us to focus on, what are those challenges that we can think through, and what solutions do we need to think about as we advance the rights of other children who are less privileged, children with disabilities, children who are coming from areas that are plagued with poverty, disease, and all manner of ills. So thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you. We encourage you to speak as much as possible. And we thank you for taking this time to listen to us. Thank you. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Anita. And I'm back to talk a little bit about what the CSO Forum, because you're talking about the CSO Forum and you do not know what the CSO Forum is. So I'm going to invite Felicitas back to speak about the CSO Forum a bit so that the children who are asking me questions, who is CSO Forum, they can get that answer. Felicitas?
Thank you, Jennifer. Maybe just to start off and say, children would know that we have as a structure that facilitates for policies and law, like laws and structures and strategies that need to happen. And then we have, so government is made up of many ministries, it's made up of many departments, it has the legal system like your police, your soldiers, it has the courts, it has lawyers, all of those things. And then it has teachers, it has social workers and all of those people. Then we have other people that are working, helping the government. We have civil society organizations. Civil society organizations are also made up of many organizations as well. We have those that are in the religion or faith-based organizations. We have community-based organizations, those organizations that really are at community level. And then we have non-governmental organizations, those that are working independent of government. And then we have your associations and unions and all of that. So collectively, these structures, because they don't work with government, are called civil society organizations. And this is who we are. Today, as we come to you as the CSO Forum, as an entity that has put together community-based organizations, non-governmental organizations,
donors, as well as other aspects that make up civil society organizations. And because we need to be organized all the time, so that different people don't have to deal with a lot of us, because we are many. There's a lot of us. Some of us are dealing with issues that are affecting your lives insofar as education is concerned. Some of us are dealing with issues that affect your lives as far as protection is concerned, where we are dealing with issues of abuse, we are dealing with issues of custody, we are dealing with issues of adoption, so on and so forth. And then there are others that are dealing with your lives concerning how you are fed, concerning how you stay in homes, like there are children that are being removed from their homes for safety, or children that don't have parents and they have to found shelter somehow. So because we are many, we have to organize ourselves so that when we speak to government perhaps, or when we speak to the African Union, or when we speak to the United Nations, we come as one voice, and that one voice represents all of us. The same way that today we are speaking to you, you are coming from your country. There are many children in your country, but it's only you or two of you that are here representing that country. So even with us, we have to organize ourselves in that way, and that is how we are able to then address issues around children. Now, one might ask, so how do you organize yourselves when you are in so many different countries? And we know that Africa has many countries, right, children? Recently, I asked adults how many countries are in Africa, and they couldn't tell me whether there were 54 or there were 64 countries in Africa. So I hope that later on you'll be able to answer that question for me. So because we are many, and we are coming from Africa, one of the things that we have done is that firstly we've organized ourselves a region and say Southern Africa countries, which is SADC countries, and then we group ourselves to say Angola, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, all of these countries that are in SADC. We become one region. And then because of that, we form a structure that can deal with that region. Same with East Africa countries. You take Kenya, Uganda, so on and so forth. We form one. So we have 5 regions. We have Southern Africa, we have Eastern Africa, we have West Africa, we have North Africa, and we have Central Africa. And that's how we have organized ourselves. Now, from those regions, is now what we call the CSO Forum. And that CSO Forum exists purely to make sure that firstly we are organized, and secondly that we make sure that the African Charter on the rights and welfare of children is a document that we utilize, and it can be alive in terms of it being used to inform issues of children in our regions, and also in the continent as a whole. And this, trying to share my screen, Jenny, and I've been anyway. I'll speak through it. I see that I don't have the.
Try now. Try now.
Oh, I should try now. Okay. So jeez. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Just a second. Okay, so this CSO Forum, Civil Society Forum, like I said, it's a platform that we then use to engage with the African Union, particularly a committee that is called the African Charter on the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of Children. This is a committee that was constituted through the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child instrument to particularly look at whether or not our countries in Africa are going to implement this charter to make sure that your rights as children are respected, that they are protected, and that they are fulfilled. And because this committee is the one that is responsible for ensuring that that actually does happen, us as the civil society organizations, we were also constituted through that same instrument to support this committee. And it is through that support role that we are doing that we felt today we need to speak to you about COVID-19 so that we can also, when we are supporting the committee, we can also support them from the basis of really understanding what the issues are from your perspective. Now, our vision really is about ensuring that you can actually enjoy your rights and that your welfare is provided in your countries. And we can only do that if we utilize the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child instrument. And like I said, we contribute to helping the committee to ensure that the Charter is effectively implemented, but also that we can monitor whether or not it is being implemented. And one of the things that we want to do by ensuring implementation of the Charter is to promote partnership with yourselves. We're promoting partnerships with everyone. We are still learning as well, because you'd know that issues of child participation, there are instances, depending on which country you are coming from, that they're still very difficult, where uh, parents and government, including ourselves, perhaps sometimes we just feel that you don't understand. And that is why today we are going to also speak about that. You tell us what it is really that can help us to ensure that we have gotten your thoughts, we have appreciated your thinking on certain things so that we can do them right. We also want to ensure that we can share information and that we can share best practices. And that is why today we have all of you coming from all African countries, really, so that we can share information on what has been done, for instance, in Senegal, and what can a Lesotho person learn from Senegal. So that by sharing that information, we can ensure that ultimately your rights and your welfare is taken care of. We also want to ensure that we can capacitate ourselves. One of the objectives that Anita spoke about was to also reflect on our own interventions as civil society organizations, whether or not we are actually truly servicing you guys properly. And if we are not, what are those things that we are missing on, so that we can learn from yourselves. And by learning that, we are building our capacity to then service you better. We also want to ensure that we can contribute to development, where we are saying that the things that we are learning today are things that we are going to make sure that they can facilitate for us tomorrow, be able to facilitate policies that make sense, policies that can make a difference in your lives, but also policies that can bring about change, which is going to make sure that you become adults tomorrow that can contribute to our countries being countries of countries that add value in your lives. So basically, that's who the CSO Forum is, and obviously we have to have leaders, and one of those leaders is ourselves today as we speak to you. and that's how we are able to do that. And then at country level, you have your networks, the people that you work with or your parents work with, make sure that you are participating today. So thank you so much once again, and we hope that you can feel free to contribute to the discussions as we start on that. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Feli. I will need help from Anita. Anita, I need you to translate for me this. If someone is using translation, they need to mute the original language. Without muting the original language, you will not be able to hear us properly. So the translation properly, you will hear two languages or two things going on at the same time. I need someone to translate for me that in French and in Arabic. I will start with French. Anita, please.
Ok, bonjour à tous. Si vous n'avez
Good morning to all. If you are not speaking, we are asking you to switch off your microphone. Thank you.
So we are going now to our program. So I'm going to ask just a few of us, how are we, like, how are you as children been coping with COVID? And then I'll start with this question. So you please lift up your hand. The hand sign is down there. The first 5 people to lift up their hands, they are going to respond. I'm going to allow you to talk. The first question, I've not even asked the question, and guys, your hands are up. Oh, you don't know what I'm going to ask you. Probably I'm going to ask you if you failed your exams, So the question is, what do you understand is COVID-19? I'm going to take people from different countries. So if you are from the same country, please do not lift up. If you see your country mate lifting up their hand, please do not lift up your hand. I'm going to start with Mundia. Mundia, what is COVID-19? Mundia?
Hello?
Yes, Mundia, go ahead.
Okay, so COVID-19 is a disease that affects the respiratory system. It's not spread through, it's not an airborne disease though, it's spread through respiratory droplets. This means that you can get the COVID-19 if you touch somebody with it, then you touch your nose, the virus will enter your nose, your eyes, and your mouth. And it can also be spread through saliva, just respiratory droplets. So it's not really an airborne disease, but it's spread through respiratory droplets from my own understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mundia. I'm going to go to, I saw a French speaker, but I can't see. Emmanuel, what is COVID-19? Emmanuel?
Next. Next.
Emmanuel? Okay, Emmanuel is not talking. Rukaya. Oh, sorry, Rukaya. Sorry, I need to allow you to talk. Okay, Rukaya?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Rukaya.
So COVID-19 is a zoonotic disease that originated from Wuhan, China, and quickly spread over the world. It's a respiratory disease that is spread by when you touch if you touch a COVID-19 victim and touch your face, then the respiratory like droplets quickly they block your breathing system, and with time it's you get like deflated. It deflates your lungs and you can't breathe, and high fever, temperature are among the symptoms.
Thank you, Rukaya. I am seeing a Kenyan, a Zimbabwean. Roy, you have not spoken. Omanti Mohammed. Oman, I hope I've pronounced it well. Where are you? You've gone. You've disappeared again. Mohammed, are you able to talk? You've lifted up your hand. Mohammed.
فيروس كورونا هو مرض معدي يسببه فيروس
Corona is a pandemic.
Mohammed,
فيروس كورونا هو مرض معدي يسببه فيروس
coronavirus is a virus
contact, and it's not airborne, but it originally originated from China. And if you come into contact with anyone who is sick and through saliva or any other droplets from a sick person, then that's how you get to contract a corona virus, and ultimately you get corona.
Okay, so we are done with that, and then I just want, so the next three people are going to answer what are the symptoms of the virus. The next three people, I will start with Lockman. Lockman. Lockman? Okay. Yanko?
Hello?
Yes, go on, Yanko.
The symptoms of corona...
bonjour. Le Covid-19, à mon avis, est un virus créé qui a fait le tour du monde, mais dans des pays comme le Japon, on peut résister au Covid-19 grâce, par exemple, dans les métros, il y a des rubans antibactéries et des produits qui... luttent contre le Covid-19 et qui protègent les citoyens. C'était mon avis.
That we can use to fight the disease. Thank you. Yanko.
Hello?
Go ahead, Yanko.
Okay. The symptoms that I know of coronavirus are a flu, a cold, fever, dry throat, and joint pains, back pains, and a very, very high fever. Thank you.
Thank you. Subusiso?
شكرا جزيلا سيد سوبوسيسو.
Symptoms that I know about the coronavirus is that
المرض الكوفيد مرض كورونا هي
is that as we all know that the coronavirus affect the lungs. The next symptoms is that it will there is the dryness of the throat, where you feel like you will be attacked by flu. If it is more than 14 days, that means it is highly possible that you are tested positive with the coronavirus. Thank you.
So when you're talking, please say which country you are coming from, yeah, for the sake of those of us who are taking notes. So Farah, what are some of the symptoms of coronavirus? Farah?
I'm from Eswatini.
Okay, thank you.
أعراض كورونا فيروس بتأثر على الجهاز التنفسي وبيحدث صعوبة في التنفس.
Virus affects the respiratory system, and you find that you have a difficulty in breathing, and the throat is normally very dry, and body temperature rises to very high levels, and all parts of the body you start feeling pain in your joints and other parts of the body. So
thank you. Shukran.
Anela?
Hi, I'm from PSBC, South Africa, Okasam. The symptoms of the corona is to have the coughing and fever, high fever, and the flu, and the droplets.
Oh, sorry, Anel. Go on, Anel. Sorry about that. Anel, go ahead.
Hi, I'm from South Africa, Okasamba. The symptoms of the corona is the high fever, the high fever, the high temperature, the coughing, and the high fever, the droplets. When you have the corona, you must stay at home. Thank you.
Thank you, Anel. So I just, the next hands, if you have spoken, please lower your hand so that I don't take your hand again, so that we give everybody a chance to talk.
إذا تكلمت من فضلك أن تنزل يدك حتى نأتي الفرصة لآخرين يتكلم.
Right.
نعم إذن
protect themselves from the virus, right? Right.
Okay, thank you. I'm Roy from Kenya. And
okay.
The signs to prevent yourself from coronaviruses: staying at home, avoid crowded places, and stay 1 meter from each other to prevent to coming in contact with that person who is infected. And when you are in a place, wear a mask to prevent the droplet from getting into your eye or your mouth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I don't know, Chenge, are you ready? Chengetai, are you ready with the next session? Chenge, is Chenge there?
Nimeitwa.
Okay, so as we go on, I'm going to ask, like, right now at home as children, what are you doing to protect yourself from coronavirus? I can see Joseph Bikie. Joseph Bikie, please talk. Joseph?
Oui, pour moi, le coronavirus est une maladie très dangereuse qui attaque les poumons. Et cette maladie se manifeste par des fortes fièvres, de la toux, mal aux gorges.
Okay. Zanella Ganze.
للزميلة غانزي الفرصة
Zanella,
السلام عليكم.
please, when you're talking, introduce yourself and say which country you come from.
Hey, I'm Mendy from Swaziland. The things that we are doing to prevent the spread of coronavirus at home, we wash our hands every after an hour, and we are putting our mask and we are keeping social distance against our parents. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking for Tanya Gwet. Please say where you're from. Tanya? Tanya? Oh, she's not talking. You can talk now, Tanya.
I'm Tanya from Kenya. For us, what we are doing is that we have minimal movement in and out of the house, and we have wearing of the masks wherever you go, and we also have the sanitization. Whenever you come in from outside, you have to sanitize before you do anything else, and there's frequent washing of the hands. And also the social distancing.
Thank you, Tanya. So Kumo.
My name is Kuma Malane from Botswana. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Kumo.
My name is Kuma Malane from Botswana. So basically, the most important thing that we're doing is staying at home and going out only when it's necessary. For example, my mom going to buy grocery and toiletry, but we make sure that we buy everything we need to avoid going out time and again. And we also disinfect the house. We make sure that the house is always clean, washing our hands as regularly. That's all.
Okay, I'm looking for someone from a different country. I can't read this one in Arabic. I would have picked you up, but I can't read your name. It's written in Arabic. So I am so sorry. So Chenge, are you able to take over? Chengetai.
Yes, Jenny, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So thank you very much, Jenny. I'm Chengetai Kanyangu from Krinza, and I'm going to be leading discussion, and it is going to focus on the experiences that your children have had with the whole COVID-19 pandemic environment that has been that has taken over the world, really. So the main purpose of this session really is for you children to tell us your experiences. You have really, most of you have already explained, and it seems you really have an understanding of what COVID is. I heard some of you talk about the symptoms, but now we really want to hear what your experiences are. And we are going to want to hear your experiences in terms of how it has affected you in terms of education, in terms of health, and also in terms of just the general child protection issues. So we want you to really speak. This is your opportunity to share your voices around what your experiences are. And we know that you would know also from the countries that you are coming from that you've been hearing a lot through the media, through the leaders of your government speaking about how COVID should be handled. And the voices of children have not really been loud enough. That is why we have thought that this is a good interaction that we can have with you today as children across the whole of Africa to really talk about your experiences. And I'm not going to say much because this is your time to speak, and we want to hear it from you and capture what it is that you have been experiencing. So I hope all the regions are represented in this. I don't really have a list of all the country, so I'm just going to start maybe and say, let's hear from those in Southern Africa, whether you're from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, you can raise your hand. If you're from Southern Africa, you can raise your hand so that we can give you an opportunity to speak. And when you are speaking, very important for you to let us know your country and your name, obviously, your age as well, just so that we can appreciate you. And don't forget your country, as I've mentioned. So let's start with Southern Africa. If you're from Southern Africa, you can raise your hand and speak. Perhaps, Jenny, you can assist me with allowing them to speak.
Go ahead.
So I can see Nozuko. Please go ahead and speak, Nozuko.
Nozuko, go ahead and talk.
Hi, ma'am. Before we continue, the child that will be speaking is Mtawelanga, but she has a challenge connecting on her phone, so she's using my laptop. So I'm Nozuko, but the child is Mtawelanga from South Africa. I'm going to let her speak.
Nozuko, we can't hear you. You have to increase your volume.
The government insists that you should go to schools that are not protected enough as the children of South Africa. Although it is a child protection in South Africa, it started yesterday. What about children who are being abused? Now they should stop canceling services because of this.
We can't hear. You can't hear him from this side.
Hello, did you hear Mtawelanga?
No, we did not hear him.
Okay, I'm going to let her speak once more, ma'am. It's Mtawelanga.
The government insists that you should go to schools that are not protected enough as the children of South Africa.
Nozuko, please ask Tolanga to be closer to the mic because we can't hear the child at all.
The government insists that we should go to school, but we are not protected enough as the children of South Africa. Although it is a Child Protection Week in South Africa, it started yesterday. And what about children who are being abused? Now they should stop cancelling sessions because of this lockdown. They are just hanging there.
Yeah, I think Mtawelanga's done. Did you hear her point of view?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We heard her point of view. Let's move on to Sibusiso. Sibusiso, you can share your experiences, and just to remind you that you are sharing around education, health, and child protection. Sibusiso, please go ahead. Are you there, Sibusiso? Okay, I can't hear you. Sibusiso, are you there?
Hey, I'm Tablaman from Aswati.
Oh,
Hello.
okay, good. Go ahead, please.
I'm
Go ahead.
Tablaman from Aswatini. In fact, that as we are children are facing now about the education is that we are no longer going to school. With that means days the difference of our study as children. Second, the government is planning to reopen the schools on the 1st of July, which means that all the children in our country are going back to school, and we are not protected, you know. And we don't have the show that everyone will be wearing the mask because as we're children, we cannot wear a mask every day, every hour. That means the coronavirus will be easily or fast spread to one another, which means everyone will be infected by the coronavirus. Because some symptoms doesn't show up early, but that person it is positive, she or he is positive. That means that person will infect everyone in the class or in the school. Our classes, as we know, we didn't plan for this thing. That means our classrooms are small. The social distance will be no more. That means everyone will be easily transmitted because some people, when they are talking, the droplets comes out, and then the next person or the partner that she or he is with will be easily infected. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you much for that. And yeah.
Can you hear
Hello,
me?
just wait a bit. I'm just going to encourage you children that as you are speaking, if a colleague from your country has already spoken, perhaps you just make it very short because we want to make sure that we go through all the regions. We've started with Southern Africa. We want to go through the other 4 regions of the continent. So if a colleague from your country has already spoken, then you are given an opportunity, just make it very brief. Thank you. So Yanko, Mary Malenga, please go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Yanko Malenga from Malawi. I'm 16 years old. So education wise, like with school closed and all, we started this online school thing. But then the difference between virtual classes and physical classes is that when you're lost in the class, you can actually ask the question. So like maybe in a subject like mathematics, you'll be way behind because you didn't understand the beginning of the topic. So we are being set back mostly in Malawi because like with the connection in our country too, it's very, very faulty. So you never know when it's going to act up. And also our political leaders are saying that we're going to open school soon, but then okay, our government saying that we're going to open school soon, but then the cases have actually risen and they're not actually taking protection measures to like safeguard the people. And also yes, so that is how we have mostly been affected, like the community in the community that I am in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yanko, for that presentation. I'll move on to Anele Magwaza. Anele, are you there? Anele, are you there? Anele, please go ahead and give us your experiences.
I'm Anela from South Africa. As we in the lockdown has disturbed us from our education because at school we don't have the water and the running water. Even in the classroom, we're sitting by three and we're sharing the books. If the one children is sick and the others will get sick also, we need to make the distance is not available as we are going to open. The schools will be so dirty and the sanitizer that we don't have and the health is very important to us and the classes has a lot of children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anele. I will move on to Pito. Pito, please go ahead. Pito, are you there?